All right, so we're going to talk about what we learned this month in shading and lighting too. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable this month than I was last month in Maya and in Nuke, just in general, just trying to navigate the whole thing with the Alt button and right, left, middle mouse clicks. Um, some of my favorite things that I learned this month would be the primary specular modes, how to assign materials, create materials, things like that. Um, One of the projects I'm kind of proud about was the car project that we worked on here. We learned how to make metal materials by making zero diffusion possible in the metals. So like going to the attribute editor, making the gain, the color, and roughness to zero. Um, what else? We also learned how to make like Fresnel reflections, kind of like similar to what you see along the car um, lighting, I guess, reflection you would say, right, like below the window and along the back side of the car, I should say, and also on the front, right under the mirror. Sorry about that. And you can also see some on the tire there. And we create the Fresnel reflection by changing the edge color. And usually the face color will be 3 times smaller than the edge to create that kind of reflection off of it. We also learned how to assign materials to faces in the object. So let's say you're looking at this car and it kind of shows a kind of like a wireframe of what's built, and you can select like different squares and faces on it and create different colors, such as you see the line going across the car right here on the side. Another project that we did was this one here, the environment one with the telescope. You can see that we created different textured files and tileable materials that are able to be assigned to the wall, basically everything you see in the image, the concrete, the wood, everything there. Another thing that we learned how to do was about bump or normal maps, and that creates little edges or little like cracks and grooves into the like the concrete you see here right along the kind of like the pillar right above the candle. You see it like in the little etchings right there. Um, my wall is kind of a bad example in this rendered image, but in my other file, it looks a lot better. Let me see if I could open that up real quick. Where are you? There you are. I updated it a lot more, a lot better, so it doesn't look this terrible. You can tell there's not a really good bump map set here because if you look, you can't really see any detail or any grooves or cracks along right in here. Um, but on my new one that I updated and I turned in was a lot better. You can tell the bump map is definitely there. Let's see, set project, environment, scene. I'm gonna do render AOVs. Don't save. It just turned out a lot better. I don't really have an image for it yet, but you can usually tell right away. Yeah, you see right here all the grooves and dents, bumps. Definitely just normalized it right there. We'll close out of this. That's all I really needed to see. Um, and for these tileable textures, it was really cool. We learned how to do this in Photoshop, where we take an image that or a texture that we find online, kind of like copy, paste, fill out the square. This one's a 4096 or something like that by 4096. Pretty large image. This is one that made up the wall that you just saw. It was 2 images. I copied it, pasted it, kind of like on top of each other, upside down. We used the healing brush tool to kind of like just divvy up the line right here that you can't really tell. You can kind of see the little color gradient. It kind of makes a square almost, like this is redder right here and grayer right here. But I edited it a little bit where like these three dots that would be normally right here or right here. You kind of just use the healing brush tool, pick out from like different spots, kind of like make it so it doesn't look like it's being tileable. To make it tileable though, you go to um, anyways, I don't remember what button it is. You go to offset it, and you offset it by half its size, so it would be like what is it, 20 something by 20 something, and then it comes up with another one, and then you heel brush it again, and you got your tileable textures. That was probably one of my more fun things I got to do because you kind of like freehand is your choice. One of my favorite things about this month. What else? Uh, yeah, we just learned about all reflection, transmission, emission services, like surfaces. So emission surfaces would be like this candle. Transmissive surfaces would be like this glass bottle, the window, anything like that. And then obviously reflections, like you see a little reflection off the light right here off this emissive surface, the candle. You can also tell like the refractions of light in here, the reflection of the bottle right here. I don't know. It was just really interesting learning all of these cool techniques. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for next class.